There's something haunting about silence. True, unbroken silence. Not the kind you get when the TV is off or when you're walking through a quiet street at night, but a silence so deep, so consuming, that it almost feels alive. A place where nature has pressed the mute button on the world. Where time itself seems to slow down. That kind of silence only exists in a few places on Earth, and one of them is hidden deep within the icy vastness of northeastern Siberia. Far from civilization, beyond the last signs of modern life, nestled in the barren heart of the Russian Arctic, there's a lake that most people have never even heard of. It's called Lake Elgygytgyn, a name so difficult to pronounce, even seasoned geologists struggle with it on their first try. The locals call it the lake that never thaws, and for good reason. For most of the year, it lies locked in ice, shrouded in darkness, sealed away from the rest of the world. It doesn't look like much from above, just a round, frozen pool surrounded by ridgelines and snowy nothingness. No wildlife calls it home. No boats drift across its surface. No tourists snap selfies on its banks. It simply exists, quiet and unbothered. But the stillness of this place is deceptive. Because recently, deep beneath that frozen surface, something has begun to stir. It started subtly, barely noticeable at first. A faint signal. A low, rhythmic tremor that pulsed beneath the lakebed like a heartbeat. Not loud enough to set off any alarms, but persistent. Repeating. Odd. The kind of thing that could easily be missed if you weren't looking for it, and even if you were, you'd probably think it was a glitch in the equipment, a hiccup in the data stream. But this wasn't a glitch. And it wasn't going away. Seismic instruments set up miles away began picking up patterns, strange little blips that didn't quite match the signature of any known geological activity. Not a tectonic shift. Not the aftershock of a distant quake. It was something else. Something unfamiliar. The kind of data that sends researchers back to the drawing board. And as the weeks passed, the signals didn't just continue, they intensified. Grew stronger. More frequent. At first, no one paid much attention. After all, this is Siberia, a land of extremes, full of natural oddities. But as more instruments across the region began to echo the same strange readings, curiosity turned into concern. Teams of scientists, some local and some flown in from around the world, began to focus their eyes on Lake Elgygytgyn. And what they found left them unsettled. Because beneath this icy crater lake, which formed some 3.6 million years ago after a meteorite slammed into the Earth, there's something happening that no one can fully explain. The lake itself is already something of a scientific marvel. It's one of the oldest and most well-preserved meteorite impact sites on the planet. Its sediments are like a time capsule, storing information about ancient climates, magnetic shifts, and even microbial life. It's been the subject of numerous studies and drilling projects over the years, but nothing in its long, silent history has ever hinted at what's happening now. This is new. This is strange. And for now, it has no clear explanation. Some researchers suggest it could be a sign of thawing permafrost, destabilizing the rock formations below. Others think it could be geothermal activity, though no known volcanic systems are supposed to exist in the area. A few theorists, more speculative in nature, whisper about something more mysterious, something ancient shifting in the dark, awakening beneath the ice. It's the kind of theory that belongs in science fiction, and yet, no one has been able to disprove it. And so, beneath layers of ice and silence, the mystery deepens. Why here? Why now? Why in a place so remote that even satellite data struggles to paint a full picture? What is it that's sending signals from the deep, echoing through bedrock and ice sheets, drawing in curious minds from around the globe? No one knows for sure. But the more scientists investigate this frozen lake, the clearer it becomes. Something is changing. And Lake Elgygytgyn may be the first warning sign of something much bigger stirring beneath the surface of our planet. Now, before we continue, I would like to encourage you to consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel in order to support us in making more videos like this. As the mysterious seismic activity continued to ripple beneath Lake Elgygytgyn, scientists began to entertain a potential cause that seemed almost too familiar to dismiss: the thawing of permafrost. Permafrost, for those who aren't familiar with the term, is exactly what it sounds like: a layer of Earth that's been frozen for an extended period of time, often for thousands or even millions of years. In many parts of the Arctic and subarctic regions, this frozen ground is a constant, immovable presence. It's the very thing that keeps the landscape from changing too quickly. The frozen layers beneath the surface lock away carbon, ancient plant matter, and even the remains of creatures long gone. Permafrost is not just a physical boundary, it's a time capsule of sorts, holding records of past climates, ecosystems, and even civilizations. However, permafrost is not an unchangeable force, and it's becoming clear that climate change, the rising global temperatures, is slowly starting to chip away at this frozen fortress. In places like Siberia, where winters once held the Earth in a frigid grip, the thawing process is accelerating at a pace no one truly anticipated. Where the ground once stayed firmly frozen year-round, scientists are now witnessing the slow but undeniable signs of change. The once solid permafrost is beginning to soften, crack, and melt. When permafrost begins to thaw, the ground shifts. And where there was once solid, impenetrable rock and ice, now there's a much more volatile mix of soil, water, and shifting sediment. And what's even more troubling is that as this ice begins to melt, it can release gases that have been trapped for centuries, particularly methane. Methane is an incredibly potent greenhouse gas, far more powerful than carbon dioxide. So, when methane suddenly escapes from the thawing Earth, it can have a dramatic effect on the local environment, and even the global climate. But methane isn't the only thing trapped within this frozen ground. There are organic materials, including plant matter and animal remains, that have been sealed away for millennia. When the permafrost melts, these materials decompose, releasing carbon back into the atmosphere. This carbon release has been a major concern for climate scientists, as it could potentially accelerate the effects of climate change, turning what is supposed to be a gradual shift into something much more dramatic. Now you might be wondering, what does all this have to do with the mysterious activity beneath Lake Elgygytgyn? Well, it turns out that permafrost doesn't just exist under the surface of the land, it extends deep beneath bodies of water as well. And while the surface of Lake Elgygytgyn may seem tranquil, serene, and unchanged, there's an entire ecosystem lying underneath that is just as vulnerable to climate change as the land above. As the permafrost surrounding the lake begins to thaw, the ground beneath the lake's surface could be shifting in ways that are sending those strange signals to the surface. This thawing process might be causing cracks to form in the lakebed, disrupting the sediment layers, and even releasing gas pockets trapped for centuries. These pockets of methane, carbon dioxide, and other gases could escape into the water, causing small but noticeable disturbances. But that's just one part of the story. The real concern here is the unstable geological formations that can arise when permafrost melts. In regions where the frozen ground has kept things in place for so long, the sudden change in temperature can lead to a massive reorganization of the soil and rock below. What was once solid and stable becomes loose and unpredictable. As the ground shifts, the pressure on underground water systems can increase, creating new pathways for water to flow where it never did before. This can lead to pockets of underground water that pressurize, moving through cracks in the earth and causing tremors or subtle seismic activity that ripple outward. Imagine the lake as a kind of pressure cooker beneath the frozen surface. As the ice melts and the earth below shifts, it could be creating small but significant movements, enough to cause those faint tremors that were initially recorded. It's as if the lake is quietly reacting to the changes happening in its own foundation. And as disturbing as this may sound, this is a reality that scientists are grappling with across the Arctic. They're beginning to realize that these subtle shifts in the permafrost can have widespread impacts on the landscape, and possibly even our global climate. What happens in one remote area, like Lake Elgygytgyn, could be a harbinger of more to come as permafrost continues to thaw at an accelerated rate. The implications are chilling, quite literally. As the frozen ground beneath Lake Elgygytgyn continues to melt, researchers are concerned not just with the seismic activity, but with the long-term effects on the lake's ecosystem, the release of trapped gases, and the broader consequences for the environment. If the thawing permafrost is indeed the culprit behind these mysterious tremors, it could signal the beginning of a much larger, more troubling chain of events, one that we may not be fully prepared for. The thawing of permafrost isn't just about a shift in temperature or the sudden melting of ice. It's about what happens when an entire ecosystem, a frozen world that has remained untouched for centuries, begins to break apart. Imagine an ancient vault that has been sealed for millennia. Within it, delicate layers of time have preserved secrets, and the moment that vault starts to crack, everything inside begins to leak out, threatening to change the world around it in ways that are almost impossible to predict. When permafrost thaws, it doesn't just melt like an ice cube in a glass of water. It's far more complex than that. The thawing process is a gradual one, but its effects can be startling. The ground beneath the surface, which had once been a solid mass of frozen earth, begins to transform into a slushy, unstable mixture of ice, water, and dirt. This process, known as active layer thawing, can lead to significant disruptions in the landscape. The once firm ground may start to sag and sink, creating holes, depressions, and sudden shifts in the soil. This might sound like something out of a geological nightmare, but it's happening in places like Siberia, and scientists are increasingly concerned about how these shifts might affect the environment around them. One of the most fascinating and troubling aspects of thawing permafrost is the release of ancient organic material. Permafrost has kept these materials, plants, animals, and even the remnants of entire ecosystems, frozen for thousands of years. It's a time capsule, holding the remains of ancient plants and animals, trapped in ice as if suspended in amber. As the frozen ground begins to thaw, this ancient organic matter begins to decompose. The slow breakdown of these materials releases carbon back into the environment, carbon that hasn't been part of the atmospheric cycle for millennia. When it is released, it enters the atmosphere and contributes to the greenhouse gases that drive global warming. But the real kicker here is the methane, a potent greenhouse gas that is sometimes found trapped in ice under permafrost. Methane is a game changer. In fact, it's up to 30 times more effective at trapping heat in the atmosphere than carbon dioxide. So when this methane escapes into the air, it exacerbates the warming of the planet. What's even more alarming is that the permafrost isn't just releasing small amounts of methane, it could be releasing it in vast quantities. Once this methane begins to escape from the thawing ground, it doesn't just drift away unnoticed. It escapes in bubbles, in great bursts of gas that can be detected in the atmosphere. These bursts can have an almost instantaneous impact on the local climate, raising temperatures and further destabilizing the permafrost, creating a vicious feedback loop that continues to accelerate the warming of the region. But it's not just about gases in the air. The permafrost is part of a much larger system that includes rivers, lakes, and underground water channels. As the ice thaws and the earth shifts, the water trapped within the frozen ground begins to move in unpredictable ways. For example, when large chunks of ice begin to melt beneath the surface of a lake, the water levels can rise or fall unexpectedly, disrupting the balance of the entire ecosystem. Fresh water sources that were once pristine and still become flooded with new, melted water, altering the water chemistry and the living conditions for aquatic life. And places like Lake Elgygytgyn, where scientists have already noted unusual activity, the sudden shift in water chemistry could cause problems far beyond the simple release of gases. The lake is home to a delicate balance of microorganisms, plankton, and fish, all of which rely on stable conditions to thrive. Any significant disruption to the water's composition can have ripple effects, making it harder for species to survive. In the worst-case scenario, entire ecosystems could collapse, leaving a barren wasteland behind. These changes could happen quickly, without warning, and scientists are only just beginning to grasp the potential scale of such transformations. Another concern with the thawing of permafrost is landslides and soil erosion. As the frozen ground begins to melt, it can no longer support the weight of the land above it. Entire hillsides can shift, sliding down into valleys or bodies of water like Lake Elgygytgyn, creating mud flows that contaminate the water and disrupt the delicate balance of the ecosystem. This kind of erosion can be especially dangerous in regions that rely on the stability of their frozen ground to maintain infrastructure. Roads, buildings, and pipelines, which were once securely anchored in permafrost, can suddenly become unstable, causing dangerous cracks and collapses. And when large quantities of soil and sediment shift into a lake, the consequences can be devastating to the local water quality and the organisms that depend on it. As the permafrost thaws and destabilizes, the land itself changes in subtle but profound ways. The ground can sink in places, causing subsidence, where entire sections of land slowly collapse inward. This process can create new depressions and cracks in the earth, which in turn can create new channels for water to flow. The result is that rivers, lakes, and streams that were once predictable and stable begin to behave erratically. Watercourses may shift, floodplains may expand, and new lakes could form, while existing bodies of water might shrink or disappear entirely. The effects of thawing permafrost extend far beyond just the local environment. They can have global repercussions. As more methane and carbon are released into the atmosphere, the greenhouse effect intensifies, causing temperatures to rise in a self-reinforcing cycle. This warming could, in turn, cause even more permafrost to thaw, accelerating the cycle and creating a climate feedback loop that could become difficult to reverse. And as large areas of permafrost begin to thaw, they could release even more of these ancient gases, amplifying the problem on a global scale. With every passing year, the situation grows more urgent. Scientists around the world are monitoring the thawing permafrost and trying to understand the long-term consequences of this process. They are racing against time to understand just how much of the world's frozen earth will be affected, and how quickly this will happen. But one thing is clear: the thawing of permafrost is not something that can be ignored. It's a slow-moving catastrophe that could, in the blink of an eye, change the landscape of the earth itself. And in places like Lake Elgygytgyn, we may already be witnessing the first subtle signs of a much larger environmental shift. As this massive frozen layer beneath the surface of the land and water begins to shift and change, it might be sending subtle signals of impending transformation. Those tremors beneath Lake Elgygytgyn may be just the beginning, a mere whisper of the larger, more dramatic shifts to come. While the thawing permafrost is certainly an intriguing and concerning factor, it's important to consider another potential cause that could be playing a role in the strange activities unfolding beneath Lake Elgygytgyn. What if the answer isn't just in the frozen ground, but in something more dynamic, a deep, underground phenomenon that's been hiding beneath our feet all along? Let's explore the possibility that something geological might be causing the mysterious tremors and disturbances in this otherwise serene lake. The Chukotka region of Russia, where Lake Elgygytgyn is located, is part of a vast and complex tectonic zone, one that has been shaped over millions of years by the movement of the Earth's crust. The region is far from stable, with active faults, seismic activity, and a history of volcanic eruptions that point to an ever-changing geological landscape beneath the surface. It's a place where the Earth is constantly shifting and moving, albeit in ways that are often imperceptible to the human eye. But beneath the quiet surface of Lake Elgygytgyn, something may be happening deep within the Earth's crust, something that could explain the tremors and strange phenomena we're witnessing. One possible explanation is tectonic plate movement. The Earth's crust is divided into several large pieces, known as tectonic plates, which are in constant motion. These plates don't move smoothly. Instead, they collide, slide past, or pull away from each other, causing earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and other seismic events. The Chukotka region, though not known for frequent earthquakes, lies near several active fault lines. And it's these fault lines, invisible yet powerful, that could be causing the tremors and strange behavior beneath the lake. When tectonic plates shift, they can create subtle ripples in the Earth's surface, ripples that may go unnoticed on a daily basis but that can become far more pronounced when the conditions are right. In the case of Lake Elgygytgyn, even the slightest movement in the tectonic plates could trigger small earthquakes, or microquakes, that travel through the surrounding land and water. These quakes, though they may be imperceptible to the average observer, can have profound effects on the landscape, particularly in areas like Lake Algijijan, which is located in a volcanic and tectonically active zone. When these microquakes occur beneath the lake, they could shake the ground and cause subtle shifts in the water, creating disturbances in the lakebed that might explain some of the strange events being recorded by scientists. However, the possibility of tectonic movement doesn't stop there. Another intriguing aspect of tectonic activity is hydrothermal activity. In areas where tectonic plates are pushing against one another, the friction and pressure can cause water deep beneath the Earth's surface to heat up, creating pockets of superheated water. These pockets, known as hydrothermal reservoirs, can be connected to underwater fissures or cracks in the Earth's crust, sometimes forming underground rivers or geysers. These hot, pressurized waters can escape through cracks in the Earth's surface, creating geothermal features such as hot springs, fumaroles, and underwater vents. In a place like Lake Algijijan, these geothermal features could be at work beneath the lake, causing changes in the water's temperature, chemistry, and overall dynamics. If these hydrothermal features are present, they could be responsible for the unusual behavior of the lake's waters. The heat from the underground reservoirs could cause the water near the lakebed to warm slightly, leading to changes in the surrounding ecosystem. The heated water could cause fluctuations in the density of the lake's water, leading to subtle but noticeable movements in the lake itself. These fluctuations might even explain the strange tremors, as the release of pressure from the hot water beneath the Earth's surface could cause tiny earthquakes or shifts in the surrounding terrain. But there's even more to consider. When tectonic plates shift, they don't just move horizontally, they can also cause vertical shifts in the Earth's crust. This vertical movement could create land subsidence, or the sinking of the Earth's surface, which can affect the stability of lakes and bodies of water. When the land sinks, the water within the lake may shift or change in unpredictable ways. In a remote location like Lake Algijijan, where there's limited human activity, such subtle changes could easily go unnoticed by the casual observer. But for scientists monitoring the region, these shifts could be a critical piece of the puzzle. A phenomenon called fault creep could also be at play. Fault creep occurs when the edges of a tectonic fault gradually slide past one another without causing a major earthquake. This slow, steady movement can cause tiny, almost imperceptible shifts in the Earth's surface over time. While these shifts may seem insignificant at first, they can add up and create noticeable changes in the surrounding environment. In the case of Lake Algijijan, this type of tectonic movement might be responsible for the disturbances observed beneath the surface. Over time, the gradual sliding of tectonic plates could cause shifts in the lake's geology, creating small earthquakes and altering the water's flow and dynamics. The interaction between the Earth's plates and the complex geological forces at work beneath the surface could also lead to the formation of seismic hotspots. These are areas where seismic activity is concentrated, often resulting in clusters of smaller earthquakes. In a region like Chukaka, where tectonic plates are in constant motion, these seismic hotspots can create ripples in the ground, even in places that are seemingly stable. The presence of these hotspots might explain why Lake Algijijan is experiencing such unusual behavior. Seismic activity could be shifting the earth beneath the lake, leading to sudden changes in the local environment. Beyond just the shifting of tectonic plates and the potential for hydrothermal activity, there's also the possibility that volcanic activity could be influencing the region. Although there are no active volcanoes immediately around Lake Algijijan, the nearby region has a history of volcanic eruptions, and the proximity to volcanic zones means that there could be underlying volcanic activity that is affecting the lake's environment. Even if there are no visible eruptions, underground volcanic forces can still have significant effects. The release of volcanic gases like sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, or even into the waters of the lake itself, could alter the ecosystem in subtle but significant ways. These gases can dissolve into the water, changing its pH levels, which in turn can affect the organisms living within it. These geological processes, from tectonic shifts to volcanic activity, combine to form a landscape that is constantly evolving. What we're seeing at Lake Algijijan may just be one example of how the Earth's crust continues to shape and reshape itself in subtle yet impactful ways. And as scientists continue to study the region, They're uncovering new insights into how the forces of nature are quietly, yet powerfully, shaping the world beneath the surface. To further understand the extent of the seismic activity that might be affecting Lake Elgygytgyn, it's essential to consider the delicate balance between tectonic stress and the formation of new geological features. In the world of geology, tectonic stress occurs when immense forces push or pull on the Earth's crust, causing it to either buckle, crack, or slip. This stress accumulates over time, and when it finally reaches a breaking point, it can release energy in the form of earthquakes. In a region like Chukotka, which is known for its relatively quiet yet active tectonic environment, this slow accumulation of stress could be playing a key role in the disturbances beneath the lake. Imagine the Earth's crust as a massive jigsaw puzzle, with each piece constantly shifting and grinding against its neighbors. When one of these tectonic plates gets pressed or stretched too far, the pressure builds up, creating fractures or faults in the crust. As this stress builds, it can cause subtle seismic events that send ripples through the surrounding ground, and in this case, through the waters of Lake Elgygytgyn. Even the smallest shifts in the Earth's crust, barely detectable to the naked eye, can trigger these microquakes that affect the lakebed. These quakes could be small enough that they don't necessarily make headlines, but they could be enough to stir up the water, disturb the lake's sediment, and perhaps even alter the flow of groundwater underneath the surface. The idea of stress release in this context isn't just about dramatic earthquakes, it's about the slow, constant, and sometimes imperceptible shift in the crust. These slow movements, while subtle, can gradually change the landscape over time, leading to the strange phenomena seen around Lake Elgygytgyn. Just as you might feel a slight tremor when walking over a shaky bridge, the Earth itself can undergo similar shakes as tectonic forces pull, push, and grind the crust along the fault lines. These gradual shifts in the underlying geology can be enough to influence water dynamics, the stability of the lakebed, and the movement of sediment under the surface, creating a ripple effect of sorts that results in unusual disturbances, like those reported by scientists. And then, there's the concept of geothermal gradients, a phenomenon that plays a huge role in volcanic regions and is a potential factor affecting Lake Elgygytgyn. Geothermal gradients refer to the rate at which the Earth's temperature increases as you go deeper beneath the surface. In regions of tectonic activity, particularly near fault lines and volcanic zones, the geothermal gradient is steeper. This means that the deeper you go, the faster the temperature increases. This increased temperature can have profound effects on groundwater systems, especially in areas that already experience tectonic shifts. When underground rock formations crack or move due to tectonic activity, they can create pathways for heat to rise, warming the surrounding groundwater and causing what we know as geothermal heating. In the case of Lake Elgygytgyn, it's possible that geothermal activity beneath the lake is affecting the water itself, particularly in terms of its temperature and chemical composition. Water that is influenced by geothermal heating can carry dissolved minerals and gases that might otherwise not be present. For example, if superheated water from deep within the Earth is making its way into the lake, it could change the water's pH, introduce new minerals, and even cause fluctuations in the temperature, any of which could have an impact on the ecosystems within the lake. These changes could also influence the types of organisms that live in the lake, altering the balance of life in subtle but profound ways. In a similar vein, the permeability of the Earth's crust plays a crucial role in determining how and where geothermal energy can be released. The Chukotka region, with its tectonic activity, might have an unusually high permeability in certain areas, meaning that cracks and fissures in the Earth's crust could act as pathways for both water and gas to flow. This can create geothermal vents, where hot gases like sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide escape from deep below the Earth's surface. In underwater environments like Lake Elgygytgyn, these vents can have a significant impact on the water's properties. Imagine an underwater geyser slowly releasing hot, mineral-laden water into the lake. This constant flow of geothermal energy could be responsible for altering the temperature, salinity, and even the movement of the water within the lake, causing disturbances that are hard to predict. On top of all this, there's the hydraulic pressure that often builds up in the Earth's crust when water is trapped in underground reservoirs. When tectonic plates shift, They can pressurize these underground water pockets, forcing water to travel through cracks and faults in the rock. This movement of pressurized water can contribute to seismic activity, much like how a balloon can burst when too much air is forced into it. This process can cause small earthquakes or tremors, which in turn could affect the surrounding environment, including the lake. But let's take this a step further. In some cases, these underground reservoirs of water are not just typical groundwater. They can be briny or contain other dissolved minerals and gases that make them highly reactive when released into the environment. For example, if a tectonic shift forces a pressurized, mineral-laden pocket of water to emerge into the lake, it could trigger a series of events that drastically change the lake's chemistry. This might include altering the water's buoyancy, leading to the rise or fall of sediments on the lakebed. These minor disturbances could potentially explain the phenomena scientists are observing beneath the lake. It's also worth considering that these shifts in the Earth's crust may not be happening in isolation. If there are multiple faults or fractures beneath Lake Elgygytgyn, the interaction between them could create complex seismic patterns, amplifying the effects of the tectonic movement. The area's volcanic history only adds to this, as even minor volcanic activity could influence the surrounding geology, leading to ongoing changes in the region's seismic behavior. The more we dive into the details of these geological forces, the clearer it becomes that Lake Elgygytgyn might be sitting on a complex web of interconnected forces, each one subtly affecting the other. While the obvious shifts in the landscape might be hard to see, the unseen movements beneath the surface are shaping the lake's ecosystem and contributing to the unusual disturbances that scientists are trying to understand. From tectonic plates shifting beneath the surface to geothermal heat rising from the depths, each layer of geological activity is adding to the mystery, suggesting that the true story of what's happening under the lake may be even more complicated than it first appears. As we venture deeper into the mystery of Lake Elgygytgyn, it's time to entertain a more unconventional, albeit captivating, possibility. What if the disturbances beneath the lake aren't merely a product of geological shifts or natural processes, but rather the result of something much more unnatural? Let's entertain the idea that we might be dealing with a hidden, ancient alien technology or perhaps a long-forgotten civilization's artifacts buried deep beneath the icy surface of the lake. Now, before we get lost in the world of science fiction, let's consider how something like this might actually make sense, or at least, could spark our curiosity. Imagine, for a moment, that Lake Elgygytgyn, nestled quietly in the remote Siberian wilderness, has been a hub for extraterrestrial activity or ancient human ingenuity for thousands of years, unbeknownst to modern humanity. The lake's pristine, untouched environment and its relative isolation could make it an ideal location for something incredibly unique. It might even be a relic of a far-off civilization, perhaps even a race of beings who lived here long before humans settled in the region. Could these beings have left behind something that has been dormant for millennia, only now awakening due to subtle shifts in the Earth's magnetic field or the changing climate? Let's think of this in terms of technological relics. The idea that these disturbances could be the result of an ancient device, hidden away under the ice for reasons unknown. Perhaps it's something that was powered by geothermal energy, tapping into the very tectonic activity we discussed earlier, using the natural forces of the Earth to fuel an unknown technology that, to us, would seem like magic. In fact, what if this technology operates on a principle we still haven't fully understood? Perhaps it interacts with the Earth's seismic waves or its underground magnetic fields, creating the odd anomalies that scientists have observed. There's a compelling argument in science fiction circles about ancient advanced technologies existing on Earth, hidden for ages. Think about it, humans, or extraterrestrials, or a combination of both, might have developed devices capable of harnessing the energy of the planet itself. These devices, left behind centuries or even millennia ago, could have been intentionally buried for reasons lost to time. And as the world changes, with shifting magnetic fields, rising temperatures, and the gradual warming of the planet, these devices might begin to reactivate or influence their surroundings in ways that we're only beginning to notice. The idea of alien artifacts lying dormant beneath the Earth's surface is not entirely new. Over the years, various scientific and archaeological studies have uncovered strange phenomena in remote areas, which some believe might be the result of such ancient technologies. Could the odd disturbances at Lake Elgygytgyn be related to something similar? Imagine an ancient alien probe or device buried beneath the lake, still capable of receiving energy from the Earth's natural movements. As the surrounding environment shifts, the probe may start reacting to the seismic waves or the geothermal heat beneath the lake, causing the strange bubbling and disturbances seen by scientists. These subtle but significant changes could be just the beginning of something larger, a pattern that, if followed, could reveal a hidden story of extraterrestrial interaction with Earth, long before modern civilization even thought to look up at the stars. On a more scientific level, we could be dealing with a non-human intelligence that used technology to communicate through the Earth's vibrations. Imagine if the disturbances we're seeing are not random at all but part of a larger message or signal trying to reach us, one that's been dormant for centuries, if not millennia. The idea of using seismic communication is not as far-fetched as it may seem. In fact, some researchers are experimenting with using vibrations or sound waves to communicate over long distances, tapping into natural forces like seismic energy or geothermal activity. Could an alien civilization have done something similar, creating a technology capable of sending signals through the Earth's crust? If so, Lake Elgygytgyn could be the location of one of these mysterious, long-forgotten devices, and what scientists are witnessing might simply be a glitch in the system, a delayed message waiting to be decoded. Let's take this one step further and consider the possibility of alien habitation beneath the lake. While we know that life as we understand it requires certain conditions, water, oxygen, the right temperatures, what if there are forms of life, far beyond what we can comprehend, that have adapted to living in extreme environments? Could an alien species have evolved in ways that allow them to exist in the Earth's most hostile, isolated places, like under the ice of Lake Elgygytgyn? If this were true, these beings could be living in subterranean habitats, powered by the natural heat of the Earth's movements, perfectly in tune with the seismic activity and geothermal energy beneath the surface. Such an idea might sound like pure science fiction, but there's a fascinating possibility in the concept of extremophiles, organisms that can survive in extreme conditions. Perhaps we're looking at the possibility of an alien civilization that adapted to Earth's harshest environments long before we ever stepped foot on the planet. These beings, operating far beneath the lake's surface, could be triggering disturbances in the environment as part of their natural processes. Or perhaps, they could be actively monitoring the surface world as it changes. It's an intriguing thought. The idea that alien intelligence could have chosen this remote location as a refuge, hidden in plain sight, and that the disturbances are merely a sign of their continued existence in the shadows of our world. Of course, as with any speculative theory, there are plenty of unanswered questions, and we're far from proving the existence of extraterrestrial life beneath Lake Elgygytgyn. But that's what makes this possibility so thrilling. The idea that something truly extraordinary could be hidden beneath the surface of this unassuming lake is the stuff of science fiction, and yet, it's just on the edge of possibility, given the strange disturbances we're observing. Could it be a message from the past, or perhaps a lingering presence that still has something to say? Only time, and further investigation, will tell. Let's further build on this idea. Imagine that beneath the ice of Lake Elgygytgyn, there's not just a single alien artifact, but a network of them, intricately designed and interconnected, like an ancient alien communication grid, waiting for the right conditions to activate. The more you think about it, the more it starts to make sense. What if the disturbances we've observed are the subtle hum of this network coming back to life after being dormant for eons? The Earth's tectonic movements, the rising and falling of seismic waves, could be triggering reactions deep below the surface, awakening a long-forgotten system designed to use the very forces of nature to send out signals, vibrations, or even messages to anyone who might be listening. After all, it would be a clever way for an alien race to establish a hidden communication method, buried deep beneath the Earth's surface, impervious to prying eyes, immune to human interference. The icy lake above could be the perfect natural shield, obscuring what lies beneath. What's fascinating about this idea is the potential complexity of such a system. Imagine advanced alien technology that uses the natural elements of Earth, geothermal heat, seismic energy, and even electromagnetic fields, to create a vast, interwoven network that is capable of communication across great distances. Rather than traditional radio signals, this system might use the natural energy of the Earth itself to send messages, perhaps harnessing subterranean vibrations or magnetic pulses that could travel across vast distances. And why would an alien race choose this method? Perhaps they knew that humans would one day come to explore the mysteries of the Earth, and that the best way to communicate was through subtle disturbances, things that we might mistake as natural phenomena. They might have understood that Earth itself would provide the ideal cover for such a delicate and covert system, hidden just beneath our feet. If we're to entertain the possibility that these disturbances are part of an alien message, then it's important to consider the kind of technology that could be behind such a signal. Advanced civilizations, be they from other planets or other dimensions, could have figured out ways to encode complex information in geothermal waves or seismic pulses, much in the same way we use radio waves to transmit data. But instead of traditional radio, this method would be more akin to tapping into the planet's natural frequencies, its pulse, its heartbeat. The disturbances at Lake Elgygytgyn might just be the first signs of a long-forgotten signal that is now beginning to reach us, transmitted through the vibrations of the Earth itself. Each seismic event, each wave of geothermal heat, could be a pulse in a broader cosmic conversation, one that we're only beginning to tune into. As we explore this more speculative idea, the concept of energy plays a crucial role. In order for this technology to work, it would need a constant energy source. We already know that geothermal energy is abundant in places like Lake Elgygytgyn, where tectonic plates meet and produce volcanic activity. What if the alien civilization, or whoever left this technology, figured out how to harness this abundant energy in a way we've yet to understand? This kind of energy, drawn from the planet's own natural processes, could have powered machines capable of manipulating the very seismic and electromagnetic forces we're now witnessing. These disturbances could be signals sent out to far-flung corners of the universe, an attempt to reach out and establish communication with any civilization advanced enough to recognize the pattern. Consider for a moment the possibility that these disturbances could be timed signals, sent out at precise intervals. The intervals could be tied to the cycles of the Earth's movements, its rotation, its shifting plates, its magnetic field. Just as radio telescopes on Earth tune into signals from deep space, perhaps these alien devices are sending signals at frequencies that only advanced technology, or a highly sensitive system, could detect. To us, it might seem random, like isolated incidents of geological activity. But in reality, these signals could be carefully calibrated pulses, each one carrying valuable information. Perhaps these are messages intended to be decoded, but only once we've developed the right technology, or the right way of thinking, to understand them. And it's not just about reaching out to us. This technology might have been designed to connect with other alien races, creating a vast network of signals across the galaxy, all aligned with the natural processes of planets like Earth. This idea also opens up the possibility that there's much more hidden beneath the surface than we could ever imagine. If Lake Elgygytgyn is truly the location of an ancient alien system, then we're not just dealing with a single device, but an underground complex, a series of interconnected structures buried deep beneath the ice. These structures could be built to withstand the forces of nature, immune to erosion or the ravages of time. Maybe they are self-repairing or rejuvenating, able to withstand the heat and pressure of the Earth's movements. Or perhaps they are powered by a kind of sustainable energy that doesn't rely on the typical means we use on Earth, such as fossil fuels or solar energy. The idea that alien civilizations might have figured out how to use Earth's natural forces in ways we haven't yet grasped is mind-boggling, but it certainly presents an exciting possibility. And what about the human element in all of this? Imagine the ancient civilizations that once inhabited the Earth. Could they have had contact with these extraterrestrials, either as allies, researchers, or even adversaries? What if, in the distant past, humans stumbled upon the same technology beneath Lake Elgygytgyn, only to leave it untouched for fear of what they did not understand. Or perhaps they were forced to leave when the technology started to grow unstable, becoming dormant once more, waiting for the right time, the right people, to find it again. It's an exciting thought, that we might be on the precipice of unveiling something truly extraordinary, hidden deep beneath the surface of an isolated lake in Siberia. Something that could rewrite everything we know about our history, the Earth itself, and the possibility of life beyond our world. Whether or not we'll ever uncover the full story is unknown, but the idea that alien technology could be lying in wait beneath the ice of Lake Elgygytgyn is something that keeps us looking toward the unknown, eagerly anticipating what the next discovery might reveal. As we step back and look at the broader picture, the potential implications of what's happening beneath Lake Elgygytgyn, combined with the strange tremors rocking the region, open up a universe of possibilities. What does this phenomenon mean for us as a species? The mysteries that surround this anomaly, whether it's the presence of hidden alien technology, the natural forces at work beneath the lake, or even the ancient history of the Earth itself, raise questions that could reshape the very core of human understanding. What we might be witnessing is not just an isolated event, but a convergence of cosmic, geological, and technological forces that could forever alter our view of the world and our place in it. The tremors, for instance, while unsettling in their frequency and intensity, could be a sign of something much more profound than a natural disaster or a typical geological event. What if these tremors are a symptom of a larger, more mysterious process occurring deep underground? The speculation about alien technology hidden beneath the lake is one possibility. But even if we look at it from a strictly geological perspective, we still find ourselves facing questions that can't be easily answered. The tectonic activity in the region might be the result of unseen forces that challenge our understanding of Earth's natural systems. Could there be ancient systems or energy sources beneath the surface that we have no knowledge of? Could the Earth be revealing secrets that have been hidden for millennia, just waiting for us to unlock them? The tremors themselves, whether they are connected to alien activity or natural geological phenomena, could represent a fundamental shift in the way we think about Earth's geology. Perhaps the planet isn't as stable as we once believed. If we can link these tremors to previously unknown forces or patterns, it might mean that there are larger, deeper geological processes at play that we've yet to fully comprehend. This could completely transform our understanding of Earth's core dynamics, leading to new insights into everything from earthquakes to volcanic eruptions, and even the movement of tectonic plates. Our understanding of how the Earth functions could be on the verge of a major overhaul, one that would influence everything from disaster preparedness to how we build our cities and infrastructure. But it's not just the geological perspective that has the potential to shift our worldview. The idea that there could be ancient alien technology hidden beneath Lake Elgygytgyn opens up the exciting possibility of revolutionary advancements in energy, science, and technology. What if we were to discover something that could provide humanity with the keys to unimaginable breakthroughs? The potential to harness alien technologies could unlock entire new fields of study, whether it's energy manipulation, gravity control, or space travel. This kind of discovery would not just change the course of human history, it could change the very direction of human evolution itself. Imagine, for a moment, that the tremors and strange phenomena we're witnessing are the signs of alien machinery coming online, or some ancient technological relic awakening after eons of dormancy. The thought that such power could exist right under our feet is enough to make you wonder, how would humanity respond to such a monumental revelation? And then there's the more philosophical aspect of all of this. What if these tremors and strange phenomena are signposts, markers pointing us toward a new era of human discovery? Could it be that this is a turning point in human history, a time when we finally shed our limitations and realize that we are part of something much larger? Whether it's the discovery of alien technology, or simply the unlocking of new natural forces, the implications of this anomaly could be transformational. It could be a moment when humanity crosses a threshold, stepping from a world of limited understanding into a future where we are no longer confined by our current capabilities. If we were to unravel the mystery of what's happening beneath Lake Elgygytgyn, we could unlock not just new scientific knowledge but a new way of thinking, one that encourages curiosity, exploration, and the willingness to challenge everything we think we know. In many ways, this potential discovery could also force us to confront our relationship with the Earth. If there is indeed something beneath the surface of this remote lake that has the power to trigger such strange events, it's a stark reminder that the Earth still holds many secrets we have yet to understand. Perhaps we've only scratched the surface when it comes to comprehending the forces that shape our planet. If we can begin to unlock these secrets, it might force us to reconsider our relationship with the natural world, perhaps even our role as stewards of the Earth. The tremors, whether caused by natural geological forces or alien technologies, could be a call to action, urging humanity to shift its focus toward a more responsible and thoughtful approach to our environment. What if, by understanding these forces, we could learn to better live in harmony with the Earth and its complex systems? And beyond the immediate scientific and technological consequences, the tremors beneath Lake Elgygytgyn could have profound implications for humanity's future trajectory. If this is, in fact, a sign of something much larger at play, whether it's alien involvement, geological upheaval, or the awakening of hidden energies, it could set humanity on a course toward a future that we can hardly even imagine. The implications for space exploration, energy independence, and even the way we understand life itself are staggering. This might not just be a one-off discovery. This could be the beginning of a new chapter for humanity, one where we expand our horizons, push beyond our current limitations, and begin to think on a truly cosmic scale. As we stand at the precipice of discovery, reflecting on the strange tremors and mysterious phenomena unfolding beneath Lake Elgygytgyn, we can't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder at the vastness of the universe and the hidden forces at play right beneath our feet. This strange, remote lake in Siberia, tucked away in the desolate Chukotka region, has been the site of an enigmatic puzzle that, in many ways, defies conventional explanation. And yet, as we've explored the various potential causes of these tremors, ranging from the seismic activities of the Earth's crust to the possibility of alien technology lurking beneath the lake's icy surface, it becomes increasingly clear that this phenomenon is far from ordinary. The natural world has always been a source of mystery and wonder, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface of understanding the forces that shape our planet. Whether it's the idea that deep geological processes are at play beneath the surface, with tectonic shifts and the release of immense pressures triggering these tremors, or the more speculative notion that ancient alien technologies could be responsible, we are left with a sense of profound curiosity. Could it be that the Earth itself is revealing secrets about its inner workings, about its history, and even its future? These tremors, far from being mere random events, could be the symptoms of a much larger narrative, one that ties together geology, technology, and even the possibility of life beyond Earth itself. At the heart of these questions is the undeniable truth that we don't know everything. And that's perhaps the most profound realization of all. For all our advances in science and technology, the tremors under Lake Elgygytgyn remind us that there is much we still don't understand about the planet we call home. Our world is full of hidden mysteries, some of which may take decades, centuries, or even longer to fully unravel. But these mysteries are not something to fear. Rather, they are an invitation. An invitation to look deeper, to challenge what we know, and to ask the big questions. Could the tremors be part of a larger cosmic drama that we are just beginning to witness? Could they signal a new era in human history, where we unlock forces of energy and technology we never dreamed possible? The speculative idea of alien involvement, while certainly out of the realm of conventional science, sparks a sense of possibility, an exciting what if. What if we are not alone in the universe? What if there are ancient, advanced civilizations whose remnants are hidden beneath the very ground we walk on? Such possibilities challenge our assumptions about our place in the cosmos and push us to reconsider the boundaries of human knowledge. These tremors could, in a sense, be an invitation from the cosmos itself, a cosmic nudge urging us to look beyond the stars and question the very nature of life, technology, and the universe. The fact that we are even asking these questions is, in itself, a remarkable leap forward in our intellectual and philosophical development. But even beyond the possibility of alien technology, There is something deeply human about this mystery. These events remind us of our own curiosity, our unquenchable desire to understand the unknown. From the earliest days of human civilization, we have looked to the stars and the earth with wonder, seeking to decode the patterns of nature, to harness its power, and to learn its secrets. The tremors beneath Lake Elgygytgyn speak to this intrinsic drive in all of us. Whether we are studying the tiniest grains of sand or the farthest reaches of space, there is a shared human longing to know, to discover, and to understand our place in the grand tapestry of existence. And yet, perhaps the most profound lesson from this exploration is not just about the secrets beneath the earth or the potential of alien life. It's about how we, as a species, respond to these mysteries. It's about how we choose to engage with the unknown. Do we shrink in fear, retreating from the discomfort of not knowing? Or do we rise to the challenge, embracing the mystery and seeking to uncover the truths that lie hidden? The tremors beneath Lake Elgygytgyn, whether they're caused by ancient technologies, geological forces, or something entirely new, are a call to action, a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is an ongoing journey. And the more we learn, the more we realize just how much we still have to explore. This journey, though uncertain and at times unsettling, is one that can shape the future of humanity in ways we can't fully comprehend. Each mystery uncovered, each tremor felt, brings us closer to understanding the forces that govern our world and our place within it. Whether we are on the brink of discovering new geological phenomena, unlocking ancient technologies, or expanding our understanding of the cosmos, the implications are vast. These discoveries could unlock new ways of thinking about energy, technology, and even human evolution. They could redefine our relationship with the Earth, urging us to live more sustainably and harmoniously with the planet. But beyond the tangible discoveries, perhaps the most significant transformation will be the way we see ourselves. The tremors beneath Lake Elgygytgyn force us to confront the fact that we are not the only players on the stage of the universe. Whether it's geological forces, alien intelligence, or something entirely beyond our current comprehension, we are but one part of a much larger story. And this realization can lead us to approach the future with humility, curiosity, and hope. It is a reminder that we are not the ultimate authority on all things, that the universe is full of unknowns, and that we must remain open to the wonders that await us. In the end, the mystery of the tremors beneath Lake Elgygytgyn, along with the possibilities of alien involvement, advanced technology, and geological upheaval, is not just a scientific puzzle to be solved. It is a profound invitation to expand our thinking, to embrace the unknown, and to embark on a journey of discovery that could lead us to answers we can't yet imagine. The quest for understanding is ongoing, and the answers we seek are as much about the questions we ask as the mysteries we uncover. So as we look to the future, let us embrace the unknown with excitement and wonder, knowing that with every discovery, we are writing a new chapter in the story of humanity, a story that is still unfolding, one tremor at a time. If you found this exploration of the tremors beneath Lake Elgygytgyn as fascinating as we did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring you more thought-provoking content like this. Be sure to ring the bell so you never miss an update, and share your thoughts or theories in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.